Looking now at the object tool. It's sort of the next tool that we're going to look at in this session 1 series. The object tool has some basic geometry method. So you can place an object using just a single placement, a single with a rotation, a single with a resize, or rotated diagonal placement. If we look at what that object tool includes, this is where it sort of gets more robust. So it's all contained within these libraries. The main libraries are the ArchiCAD library and the Walker-Warner library. This will eventually say WWA library 26 for the 26 library, but for now it's all divided into these CSI divisions, so 00 through 34. Looking at the ArchiCAD object library here, and we can click right here and view this as a list. It'll give you sort of a better idea of what's in here. So general, concrete, etc., etc. The bulk of the elements are going to be under furnishings, plumbing, electrical, those sorts of categories. But there's a ton of stuff in both libraries for all these categories. The Walker-Warner stuff is more geared towards our template. So when we look at equipment and appliances, for example, if I just grab a Sub-Zero element in here, it's using our lines, fills, pens, surfaces. It looks okay in 3D. It looks okay in floor plan. If you use the out-of-the-box ArchiCAD library here, under equipment, we have the same folder for residential equipment, and appliances are in here. There is a refrigerator, a couple of refrigerators in here. There's a side-by-side. But notice the gray fill and the mauve text. These are not geared towards our template. So if you do decide you're going to use this kettle barbecue, for example, you have to go through and make sure that you're applying the correct pens and making sure that the fills and everything are all set up in here. These may have more settings like ties to the model view options, full detail, simple detail, whatever. You do need to check the surfaces, check that it's showing up correctly. Once it's set, you just make sure that your geometry method is set to place it. Based on that insert point right here, that's that square box right here, if I want to place it based on the back node, depending on the object, you're going to have different spots that you can place this based on. You can place it based on a rotational placement of that point. So I can rotate it and snag it into that orientation. Or I can place it and resize. This is apparently not resizable. Or place and skew. So depending on the object, you're going to get different placement options for those geometry methods. Primarily, this is going to be used for, like I said, furniture, appliances, accessories, things like that. There are quite a few favorites for these things, especially when you start getting into plumbing fixtures. A lot of these plumbing fixtures, like the toilet, wall-mounted toilet, for example, is a favorite, but it's built from the ArchiCAD default toilet. So this gives you the correct pens and fills and surfaces right out of the gate using that part. And again, by placing it, if I know it's going on this wall, for example, down here, if I place it based on this insert point right here and this geometry method or this placement method, I can place it immediately to this corner and then define the rotation. So that all I have to do is shift it over 18 inches and it's right in place. So exploring and figuring out what is in the object tool settings, viewing the favorites, and even adding favorites to it if you find that you're going back to an out-of-the-box library, a Walker-Warner library, or sorry, an ArchiCAD library rather than a Walker-Warner library, and constantly trying to reset those settings. Those are things that we can either add to the template or add to the project file. There are detail parts, there are modeling parts, all over the place in this library, both in the favorites and just in the generic library. There are symbols for center lines and match lines and different marker types, all set up within the library and in the favorites of those library parts.